Hi guys, welcome back. This is episode number 46 of Matt Chat, featuring an interview with the author and publisher of the Choose Your Own Adventure series, Mr. RA Montgomery. Now my guess is you're one of the 350 million something people who have read and enjoyed R.A. Montgomery's wonderful series, Choose Your Own Adventure. These are books that are adventure games in prose form. You read a passage and it's all in second person, so you're role-playing a character. And then at certain points of the narrative, you're presented with a choice. And if you want to go one way, you turn to this page. If you want to go to the other way, you turn to another page. Lots of choices, lots of different endings. I wanted to read a little bit from the sort of preface of one of these. Beware and warning. This book is different from other books. You and you alone are in charge of what happens in this story. There are dangers, choices, adventures, and consequences. You must use all of your numerous talents and much of your enormous intelligence. The wrong decision could end in disaster, even death. So, if that doesn't make you want to read these books, nothing ever will. The author is very concerned here. It's not just about having fun. As you could probably tell from that description, there's a lot of uplifting things for kids. Put kids in a role where they feel powerful, where they feel intelligent, and let things happen as what may. You're probably going to end up with a smarter, better adjusted child. All right, so anyway, Mr. Montgomery is here to talk to us about these books. So without further ado, here is R.A. Montgomery.
I have been involved in education one way or another, basically ever since college. And I worked for a while for the Wall Street Journal in their education division. And then I worked for Columbia University. And then I set up my own school, a summer school for kids who were not doing particularly well. And I wanted to break the traditional mold of learning by rote and by assignment and by actually often education can seem somewhat that it's punishing a kid. So I did a lot of gaming with these kids. For instance, there were math kids who hated math. So I hired a young guy fresh out of college, very bright, and I gave him a bunch of money and I said, go to a game store and buy everything that you think that would teach a kid something about set theory and numbers and break down the resistance. And it worked amazingly well. And then gradually over the course of the summer, we got them into doing algebra. We broke down the resistance by getting them involved in the process. For the kids who are having trouble with English, reading and writing, which is a huge problem in our country. I mean, we're supposed to be the best educated. We're not. And in science, we're about number 29 in the world. So in the English portion of this, we had kids read books and then write stories, starting with paragraphs. A red pencil never touched a kid's paper. It just didn't, because that says you're wrong. Something's wrong with you. After that, I went to Cambridge, Mass, and was involved with a think tank down there called Apt Associates. This is quite a few years ago. And that exposed me to role-playing simulation games, if you know that whole modality, where you take a role and that you basically go through that role, trying to achieve the goals that the role sets out, playing against or with anywhere from 15 to 30 other people. And it was time-phased, task-oriented, goal-driven. gaming is at the heart of an awful lot of stuff. So teaching, if it's not lecture, test, regurgitation, all that kind of stuff, but if it's experiential where you're given an opportunity, it's very powerful, and I believe in that. So, what is Choose Your Own Adventure? Let's take a look at Abominable Snowman. You are a world-famous mountain climber despite how young you are, and you and your best friend are at the bottom of Mount Everest. And the kid reading this says, whoa, yeah, I'm a famous mountain climber. And your friend is missing in the ice fall. Now, the ice fall is the terminal moraine of the glacier that's, coming down on Everest. And this is a real kill zone. And the book is telling you about this. And there are huge ice needles, seracs, that by 11 in the morning, even at that altitude, 18,000, 19,000 feet, the sun is working on those giant ice needles and making them unstable, and they're beginning to waver, and they can crash. And a lot of people get killed in that ice fall. So here's your choice. You the reader, and it says it right in the book, you can choose to go into the ice fall after your friend Antonio. You're not sure he's there, and it's very dangerous. Or you can choose to wait until the Nepal Royal Air Force helicopter rescue team gets there. But the Rongbuk Glacier is filling with clouds already. It might not be able to make it. Choose now. And if you choose to go into the glacier, that's the death zone. Go to page 6. If you choose to wait for the helicopter, go to page 7. Now, you can imagine people making these decisions. And you read these books as a kid. And actually, a lot of adults read them too. It's finally saying to you, you're involved. What are you doing? And why are you making these choices? So implicit in the choice is an ethical or moral approach or decision, but that is never spelled out and it is never sold. Whatever you decide is what you decide. A little bit of postmodernism in there, although I'm anti-postmodernist. So that's what it is. It's just an exciting way of getting people involved in their lives. And I'd always hoped that this would make some profound changes in the way people make decisions about their lives, about the lives of their children, about politics, all the rest. And I'm still very optimistic about that. Surprised, enormously surprised and gratified. When I say gratified, I think, Matt, what I mean is we all make choices in our lives. And the choices were open to me. I could have gone to law school or a business school. I could have become a broker in New York. I chose not to do those things. I did work for the Wall Street Journal for a while in the education division. And then I went uptown to Columbia University, and ever since then, my goal has really been in education. What is that all about? I think that's making an impact, trying to make an impact on kids. And that's really what I've done with my life. So when the books took hold, it was enormously gratifying. Teachers loved them. Librarians loved them. Parents loved them. But the kids are the ones who really drove it. And so I was writing for the kids. And I still am. I finished a manuscript yesterday. I've written about 70 of them. Don't be afraid. Just go out there and understand that we are all confronted with choices every day of our life. And that it's new, it's exciting. Sometimes it's really, really hard. And as I say, losing a child, it's, every day I have to deal with that. And yet I'm not turning my back on life. That's the message that came out of that. Not turning your back on life, even when it hurts. And I can tell you, man, It hurts every day. Every day.
And that's all for this week's Matt Chat. I hope you enjoyed it. I usually give a little parting thought at the end of these episodes, but this time I thought I would give that honor to Mr. Montgomery.
I'd just like to hold up this picture. That's Ramsey. That's our oldest son that we lost. And there he is in Vietnam. He's a wonderful guy, just a wonderful, wonderful guy.